As you saw from our previous video, we have set up our animation or our aim offset. So now I'm going to go ahead and plug it into our animation blueprint. Now we're not going to be controlling it in this video by how we aim or anything yet, but this is just going to be kind of an example on how it works essentially. So if we go here to our animation graph, we're going to move our default state machine over, and we're going to find our aim offset. So we're going to drag this out, plug our state machine into our base pose, and our aimed offset into our output pose. So I'm going to save it. And now we essentially need to kind of adjust some things. So for our yaw, for example, I'm going to do the max of 90, compile, and you see it's looking over, but the problem is he's not in the correct pose per se. So what we need to do is, for example, if I hit check weapon, it's better, but it's still incorrect. That's because for has weapon, we're using the hip idle, which is kind of at the low ready, I guess. He's not actually quote unquote looking down the sights, even though in the animation he's not really in the greatest of poses for that. So we need to change, or we need to add another variable here called is aiming. Now I'm going to set this value to true as well. Compile and save, and go into our state machine. Now we're currently running the weapon idle / run, and if you look into it, you can see the I'm being blind here. It's using the, where is it? This weapon animation here, which is for moving around and stuff like that, but he's not actually looking, well, up or down per se. So if we go to our, let's see, animation starter pack, I'm going to search for rifle underscore idle. No. All right, rifle underscore. All right, it's called idle, so rifle underscore idle iron sights. I mean idle underscore rifle iron sights. We're gonna right click. We're gonna retarget it. So retarget. Drag this to our aim offset folder. Go back. I'm gonna drag off of here and do a new state. I'm gonna call this one weapon aiming. So the condition is going to be is aiming. And to go back, it's going to be is not aiming. All right, so for the pose we're going to use for this is the one we just dragged out. So idle rifle iron sights. We're going to save it. And now you can see the pose is correct. So if I go back and I change this to, let's say, 50, he goes back a little bit. Let's say if I wanted to look straight up at slightly left. Now let's say I want to go look to the right and up. Well, the right and down. You do that. So we're pretty much going to be influencing our yaw and our pitch when we're aiming, and when we're not aiming, we're going to make sure these are reset back to 0. So that's an example on how they work. So I'm going to set both of these back to false. And as you can see, the animation goes right back. If he has the weapon, it goes into the correct animation. And when he's aiming, he goes and brings the rifle up to his shoulder. So that's an example on how we're going to do this. We're going to have to do some adjustments to this, obviously. But I'm actually going to get a curiosity here. All right, so we're going to set up a state for crouching too. So, but we'll do that in the future. Anyways, we're going to end up really expanding on this in the next video. This was just a quick little introduction to show you how this works and essentially how we're going to set it up. So we're going to use our control, or pretty much our control rotation to influence our yaw and our pitch, and we're going to have to figure out a way to replicate that so other clients also know what these values are, as well as we need to set them on the client. So we're essentially going to have, what I'm thinking of is just a replication that skips the owner. So that way the owner, as he looks up, it's instant. As he looks down, instant, left, right, etc. But for other clients, well, for the owner, since we're skipping him, we're performing them on his own client, but it's also being replicated to others. So we're performing the movement or the change on the client, passing that to the server. The server is then replicating that to everybody else except for ourselves. So that way the replication is instant. And then we just kind of will have a little, whatchamacallit here, pretty much lerp to that new value inside of our animation blueprint to make it smooth. So once we get to that, I will see you then.